Alrighty.
All right. Now it's called to order at 2:05 p.m. and we'll jump into roll call. Chris Bovey, have not heard from him myself. Matthew Stevens, I am here. Lynn Schumel.
Here.
All right. Tina. And Lisa. No Lisa yet. And Michaela.
Here.
All right. We do have a quorum. What do we want to do about the absences? Do we want to make a motion to excuse those, or and the motion would have to be made by one of you all, I believe. So
We don't know what their reasons are for missing, right?
yeah,
They have no
right.
contact.
Yeah, haven't heard anything from any of them myself. I don't believe they've emailed city staff either. So
Yeah,
Now,
so
for
it's
the
kind of
record,
hard to, it's kind of hard to excuse people. We don't know why they're missing.
right. Yep. So we will consider these unexcused then, and we can hop into the Pledge of Allegiance.
sorry, we have a flag in the room now.
Okay.
But since we're all in Zoom, that doesn't really help us out. Tell you what, let me try one thing real quick.
I can move the flag into the. Oh, you're gonna move.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Nice.
There you go.
All right.
All right. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it
which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
and justice for all.
Matt, in staff reports, we can talk about that if you want. The Planning Commission has moved away from doing the Pledge of Allegiance because it's kind of awkward.
Okay.
So if you would like to have a conversation about it, we can.
Okay. All right. And item number 5, the approval of the agenda. Has everybody been able to take a look at the agenda? Lynn and Michaela?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
I second it.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. And also approval of minutes from the last meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look those over?
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Okay. And do we have a
I
second?
I second that.
All in favor? Okay. And let's see here. Is there any public comments or anything that have come through?
No public comments.
All right. No
And no
public
one is present in
comments.
the room.
Okay. Thank you. No presentations today, no public hearings, no action items, right down to workshops for an update on the public art display policy.
Alrighty, so this is just going to be a real brief kind of overview of the process and where we're at on it. So over the past couple of months, we've been working on this public art display policy. We drafted it, brought it to you guys, I think, back in August for some initial comments. It was circulated to department head for comments. Their comments were then placed into the document. There was a motion, I believe, not last month, but the month before, to approve the public art display policy. It was approved. The public art display policy, the rotation is beginning in December. So it has been advertised on our Facebook page as well as our website to take submittals for display on public facilities. So this includes the art cabinet in City Hall and the wall out at the Recreation Center. So far, we have not received any actual submittals. We are taking them perpetually, so we'll be reposting and letting people know periodically that this is an option. If we do get any submittals, we will bring them to the December meeting. If we do not have any submittals by the December meeting, I believe the schedule has it, then the next consideration is at the March meeting. So the actual consideration is built into this. So we just want to let you know that A, the policy is completed. B, it has been advertised, and C, your first opportunity to take a look at submittals will be in December.
Okay.
So very, very quick and easy. Just kind of just wrapping up this this policy. So good job.
Yeah, excellent. Looks good to me.
Were there any questions or comments on that? Now that it's going, is there any additional outreach you'd like for us to do beyond Facebook and our website?
I think, I mean, if Spokane Arts or like a larger organization shared it on Facebook, we might have better luck. I don't know that a lot of local artists are even necessarily following the city on social media. Whereas like, you know, an art organization might have a bit of reach.
No, that's a good idea. We can definitely reach out to our contacts at Spokane Arts and see if they can post the opportunity on their site as well. They've done that for us in the past, including the utility box project. So we'll definitely do that. That's a good idea.
Yep. That looks pretty good. I'm excited to get it rolling. So, all right. Lynn, did you have any questions or anything regarding the public art display policy?
Nope, I think it's perfectly fine.
Cool, cool. Awesome stuff. And item B under workshops is an update on the Downtown Revitalization Project and the Utility Box Wrap Project.
Yeah, so we've been moving forward. There's been some delays just because we've been waiting to hear back from WSDOT on whether the utility box was going to be swapped or not. We didn't want to wrap the box for WSDOT to tear it down immediately. So we have had the art scanned. The scan turned out great. We have the printer lined up. We were waiting for that. We heard back from WSDOT last week that they are now not considering switching the box out. Right now, right? So now we know that for sure. I'm in contact with our printer. She actually sent me a proof this morning. I was gonna show you guys of what this is gonna look like. So this is the proof we got with the art we selected. I actually provided a comment with her. I think it looks great. I did ask her if she could actually maybe move the Airway Heights pink over because it's kind of cutting it in half there. I was like, it's actually like it's our municipal boundaries. So they're working on that to see if they can center it a little bit differently. But overall, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
So once we get this printed, it's going to be a matter of us finding a time where they can install it versus the weather. So
Yeah.
as it gets cold, it's going to be that. So we're doing what we can to get done as quick as possible, so we can try and get it done before it gets too cold. Right now, that we're kind of up in the air. So once this is printed and once I get an available date from the installer, I'll be reaching out to the commission as well as city council to have an unveiling. If we can get that done as quick as we can before it gets cold, great. If not, it'll have to wait till the spring, of course. But that's just kind of is what it is. There's not much we can do with the weather. So, but I did want to give you guys a visual, show you where we're at on this. Like I said, the scan I think turned out great. Commissioner Bowie, who's not here, but he helped out a lot with just getting us in touch with the right people for that. Yeah, that turned out great. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. During staff reports, I'll talk a little bit more about, switch back over here, sorry. We'll talk a little bit more about the Downtown Revitalization Project, which I think we're going to talk about in December and January, getting the ball rolling on what we want to do, kind of next steps with that. But just to give you an update on the utility box wrap, that's where we're at.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And that visual is incredible. the way they can show you how it'll look when it's wrapped, it looks amazing. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, the vendor we've been using has actually been really helpful and really responsive, and yeah, they're great. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome stuff. Any questions or comments on the revitalization project or anything? I'm not hearing any. So I guess we can hop on down to commissioner reports. Um, Lynn, Michaela, do you have anything you'd like to report on or anything, or? No, I don't have anything to report either. I did have a conversation with a local artist who might be interested in donating a piece, but I don't know how that works. It's Richard Warrington. He does a lot of sculptures and stuff. He's actually closing down his art studio here over in Cheney because he's moving to Wenatchee. But I was wanting to ask how donations would work out if we would ever come into that type of situation.
There's some information in the ordinance about artwork and the agreements that need to be put into place, and so we could
Yeah.
work with him on that. It really has to do with whether he's going to be giving up the rights forever for the art or not.
Yep.
And you could just give them our contact information and we can walk them through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will pass that on and let him know. So thank you so much. Okay, on to staff reports. I know we were possibly gonna discuss the Pledge of Allegiance thing, or
Yeah, so I got a couple different items here I wanted to just touch base on. First off, that wasn't on my list, but now it is.
yeah,
The planning commission, it became one of their priorities over well, we ended up amending the agenda items list a couple months ago, but it was a conversation about reworking it. The agenda items list we have now is based on the planning commission agenda list that had kind of been in place for years and years and years. So they kind of due to the implementation of virtual attendance felt like the Pledge of Allegiance just was really clunky, it was awkward, and they wanted to remove it. So it turned into a larger conversation. But if you would like to have that conversation, we could put it into the workshop, and you could make a motion to amend agendas if you'd like to. But that's up to the chair whether you would like us to do that or not. So that's the first item that wasn't on the list, but there's that. And
yeah,
that's also something if you want to take a look at the overall list and make any changes or propose any changes, and then we can have a conversation followed by a motion to accept the changes. We can do that, but it should be an agenda item. So just
yeah.
something to think about there. The second item I wanted to talk about, so you can see on this agenda, the under roll call, Commissioner Phillips is no longer listed. The city council did vote to remove her based on her absences. So we have begun advertising for a replacement commissioner. We have not gotten any applications yet. The specific seat, so all of your seats are specific. If you remember from when you were originally appointed, everyone was appointed with a role. Commissioner Phillips was the citizen knowledgeable in the field of public art education or community affairs. We do have a news piece on our website right now that provides some information on how to apply. If you know anyone interested in joining the commission, please let them know to check that out, and feel free to reach out to us with any questions on that. Yeah, so that's all there. It was also shared via Facebook. That might be something we reach out to Spokane Arts as well to see if we can do that. There is not a requirement for Airway Heights residency. We do have a one-person resident minimum, and we have that already. So this person does not have to be a resident of Airway Heights, but they do have to have a vested interest in the community. So,
Right.
so that is that piece. The second piece was So starting next month and maybe bleeding into January, we're planning on having some more workshops talking about what we'd like to do next with the rest of our downtown funds. When we initially started talking about the utility box wrap project, it was a small percentage of, I believe, $12,000 is what we have, right? When we started.
I believe it was 15,000
15.
total, so
Okay.
they've used about 1,500 with the first project.
Okay, so we've got, well, when all is said and done, 13,000-ish dollars left for public art in the traditional downtown. So I want to set up a workshop to have conversations about kind of what next we want to do down there, next steps, next projects. We can revisit our initial conversations, because we did initially have conversations about murals and a couple other items, sculptures, and pads and stuff like that. So I can pull up those notes and we can go through them, but we want to start looking at what our next project is going to be for that downtown area. Secondly, we are going to receive additional fundings available through our agreement with Lime Multimodal. So the scooters that are in and around the city, we have an agreement with them where they actually provide us a fee every year that's dedicated to pop-up traffic projects and public art. So the agreement is for $10,000 a year. We've had it for 2 years, so we have $20,000. So not all of that can go to public art. We can do pop-up traffic projects and have public art associated with those as well. We actually did one of those a few years back. My plan was to bring our presentation on that just to kind of show you what we've already done and to see if you'd be interested in doing another project like that, or also having a larger conversation about using public art funds in Airway Heights outside of that downtown area, because these funds can be used anywhere. So that's kind of the plan for the next couple of months, is just starting to go, okay, this utility box was great, got our feet wet. What do we want to do next? These are our funding sources. This is what we can do with these 2 items. And yeah, what does the commission want to do? And that's what I have for staff reports. Heather, do you have anything?
Yeah, so everybody heard about the city acquiring a new building for their public safety campus down at Garfield and US2. That's eventually going to be an all city services complex. So we'll have police, fire, municipal courts, finance, and building and planning have already moved into the building. And so part of the conversation around that project is going to be a set aside for public art. And so we'll be putting that on your agenda for this next year to talk about art around that. Now, that building will be remodeled over the next 2 years in order to house most of those services. So we've got some time, but I wanted to put that out there so that we could begin thinking about public art, get a dollar figure for that because of the 1% requirement under the ordinance, and how we might include art into that building as it's being remodeled to become available for all city services. So short amount of time, lots of opportunities coming up for the city, and opportunities for art to really start to become part of the fabric of the city as we move forward. So those are probably the big ticket items, literally, financially and opportunity wise, coming up in 2024.
Awesome stuff. Cool. All right. And I was curious about that with it being purchased and stuff. I didn't know if that was I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you for that, because I was curious about that as I was writing about it and down there visiting. So okay. And that's it for staff reports. Let's see. Michaela or Lynn, do you have any questions or anything for anything they just discussed in staff reports, or? Nope, don't hear anything. It looks like our next meeting is slated for December 11th. And Yeah, like with some of those discussions, I don't want to dive in too deep because we're missing half of our commissioners today. So
Sure.
I I don't want to get too far ahead of them basically. So I think it'd be good to bring that stuff back into the next meeting in December and kind of get some ideas going. So um, with no other questions or comments, I think we're safe to call this meeting an adjournment at 2:26 p.m.
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody. And yeah, we'll get all that together in December, January. We'll get her going. Have a great Thanksgiving. It's coming up really soon.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Anybody going to be out running the turkey trot out in Cheney on Thanksgiving Day? I'll be down there taking pictures, but they always have a big turkey trot the morning of Thanksgiving, and it's super fun. Everybody dressed up as turkeys, dogs dressed up as turkeys and stuff. So it's a